talks about in Hebrews chapter 11, multiple men and women of God that were heroes of the faith. One of my personal favorites is David. One of the reasons is because the Bible tells us that he was overshadowed by his brothers, which means that he was vertically challenged, just like me. But I love that it tells us a story of a young man who had the faith to be able to take on a giant. No matter what situation was in front of him, whether it was a lion, whether it was a bear, whether it was Goliath, he was always filled with faith to be able to fight it. Then it talks about Moses. Moses, a man who had a stuttering problem, who wasn't sure what it felt like to talk on a stage, who probably couldn't even finish a sentence, but God called him to be able to lead 3 million people out of slavery. Now, many of you in the room know that it's hard to deal with people sometimes. Having conversations with somebody, especially those who don't believe, it could be difficult. So I can't imagine the faith that Moses must have had on the inside of his heart to be able to lead that many people out of what they were in the middle of. And don't get me started on Elijah. Oh my goodness. He was somebody who had so much faith that when he was challenged to prove if God was real, he said, "You show me and then I'll show you." He brought down fire from heaven. It doesn't end there, right? We know it also talks about Jonah, who was swallowed by a whale, was running away from God. I know we've all been there before. We ran away, weren't sure what life was going to look like because it looked too difficult to walk this life with God. But somewhere along the road, Jonah decided, you know what? I'm tired of running away, God. I need to be by your side. I need to live for you. He was spit out, and the Bible tells us that one sermon that he preached in Nineveh saved the entire city. Faith. Heroes of faith. When we look at all that God has done before, we shouldn't look like it like a history book that's happened in the past. No, we should look at it just as a present time now word, because he is the same God yesterday, today, and forever. He is an on-time God right now in this moment. So whatever situation you're currently facing right now, whatever problem you might feel like you have on the inside of your heart, whatever feels like might be too difficult, hear me yelling today. He is faithful to be able to make a way. Just like he did in the old, he's still doing it now.